was an asshole with a capital letter.
Yes, I did. I did. And I have no this thing about it. I hope you are not, you also don't regret the decision.
Serve me breakfast, and along with that, he served me the divorce papers that they cannot be smoked without a fire.
I need you to step up as a man, as a father. I don't need you for mundane things. I mean, it's okay we're not having dates together because we could hardly. We had a little fellow and we still tried to do whatever we could. But I want you to be there for the bigger things in life which matter to me. And yes, I did. I did. And I have no this thing about it. I hope you are not, you also don't regret the decision
I
or my
think
act. Hmm.
I think that's one of the best things that happened to our marriage. The 7 year itch of I still vividly remember that morning when having breakfast, and I was busy going out for a meeting, and you served me breakfast, and along with that, you served me the divorce paper saying that this is it, Vijay, this is the end of the road. I see you married to your work. I see you so busy and so committed to what your future should be. You don't take interest in me or our son. You're not interested in us, and you're not giving us the type of support that we need in terms of
And my
your
career.
career.
My career was
Your career,
also.
you want to take up your career, and that's when I realized that they cannot be smoke without a fire. I think I'm very grateful for the one realization, because most men during this period of time they get into a defensive mode, and they start finding flaws and faults in the other person instead of introspecting. And the same thing happens also for the woman. I mean, you may have your own thought process, you may have, but you also need to think, because marriage is made together. I had my own flaws, I know, and I absolutely agree, and I know for a fact I was an asshole with a capital letter. No doubt, because I was so self centered, I was so full of myself, always looking at how I could succeed, how I could make it big, and what I could do, and what next, what more. I never understood what my wife was going through. My wife was, I'm traveling about, out of 30 days, I was traveling close to about 20, 21 days out there. I just come back late nights, and again early morning leave. So it used to be crazy. And just out of pregnancy, and Ricky was so small, he was hardly about 2 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, I started my practice on weekends when he was 5 months.
Yeah.
Then when he was 5 years old, I wanted to have my own practice 24/7, start my own center.
So, I think it was a shaking for me. It was absolute shaking, but I'm so grateful that at that point of time, instead of getting into a blame game, I love the communication that you have, Vijay. We have had a beautiful, 7 years of marriage. We have had a 7 years of marriage. Beautiful, not beautiful. Beautiful according to me, not so beautiful according to you. But we have a child, we have a son, and we need to do things very dignified. We will not mudsling. We will not do anything that will probably, we need to be best of friends, because we need to raise the son together, we need to raise this child, and he should have a good future. I was amazed with that type of attitude, and it gave me enough time to actually step back and start wondering, what did I do wrong? Because till then I felt I was the perfect husband, I was the perfect father, I was a perfect man, till every counseling session where we'll go to Emma, and she would, and you would tell to her a list of things, which I was amazed with the type of memory and the capacity you had to remember all those small, small things which meant so much to you, which seems so insignificant to me. And she'd ask me, "You tell me something about this." I'd just scratch my head wondering, she's just perfect. I don't see anything. I don't see any problems. I mean, that's how men are. We just forget, we just go ahead. Not that there's nothing wrong with you, there's a lot of things, but it's just the way men are designed. We don't look at the smaller things, we just let it slip. But you've been an amazing person. So what are your memories about this, and what are your learnings from it? Everybody goes through this. There's nobody in this world who can say, I have a perfect marriage, I don't have fights. In fact, industry average is about 5 fights a month. Are you aware of it?
Okay. Mm, okay. I don't have the energy to fight. And after 25 years, we're going to complete 25 now. We can't be fighting. Um, okay. Coming from my perspective, and it is my perspective. I'm not expecting all the women to, agree with me, but you could reflect. For me, one thing was very clear that it was not working out, and I had more, and he needed to bring more on the table, and I didn't see it going further. The second thing is, I didn't want a messy breakup if we were going to get divorced. Honestly, I come from a dysfunctional family. I have not seen very happy moments between my parents. And children who live in bad marriages become dysfunctional adults. So recently, my 25th book is about toxic relationships and abuse, but that's a different thing apart. So I was very clear whatever we do with dignity and grace. Now, when we started going to the counselor, there are a lot of things that the counselor brought back, but we should discuss this in some other thing, some other what a session of ours when we do the video. But what my learning straight up I'm going to be there is that I started my own center. The reason I fought that I want you more in the marriage, I want you more to help raise our son together because I'm going crazy. I'm just going crazy, and you're going to have a loony in your hands, and I'm not going to turn crazy. I want you to be there. So, what was the purpose? I have my dreams and I'm building it. So, when I started opening my center, and I was an entrepreneur, I began to realize what he was going through. I was working on weekends. He was pretty okay with it. The whole of Saturday I would be away. Sunday I would come back at 3. And my son and my husband would patiently wait to have lunch with me. And we would just get that Sunday. And that's when I realized, okay, if I can spend that kind of time out of the house and he has to be accepting, then I should be accepting to him staying away and how much more emotionally independent I can get. See, as urban women, and thank God for privileges, and because we live in a society where you can get hired help or you can get help. It's physical, but first you need to get the help from your mind and your emotion that I am going to expect him less in these places, and these places are non negotiable like anniversaries, birthdays, or when it mattered the most. When it matters the most, an emergency when no one can fill his shoes, he has to be there. But if I have chosen to have a career and I want a marriage and I have a family, then I cannot be emotionally over dependent. So that's one thing that we women need to understand. So that's my work that I did. I got into a shoes of an entrepreneur, that was you, and I realized what it means to build a dream and how to be passionate and how you can lose your way. And that was my learning. So,
I think I want to rewind and go back to what I spoke. Men are dumb. I'm dumb. I'm not speaking about men. I'm speaking about myself. Super dumb because I was not taught how to take care of women. I was never given the exposure about how a woman feels. Though I was brought up in a very powerful environment of my mom being, with my dad, and mom was a super woman. I had three beautiful, amazing sisters, but totally pampered, rotten. The
yours
youngest.
was a patriarchal setup.
So I didn't know. I never knew how to actually these when we went through this whole 7 year itch, and when we were going through the entire counseling session, which lasted for almost 2 years. Nothing happened overnight. It took us 7 years to get into it and 2 years to come out to it. But lucky when I was able to step back and look at my own actions, when you would speak about those incidents which seemed so insignificant at that point of time, but trying to understand from a woman's perspective how significant it was. Now I realize, to put in simple terms, he's not a man who stands by his wife, but he's a man who stands for his wife. There's a huge difference between. I was standing by you saying, you do whatever you want, Rakhi. I will be there for you. But it's different going with you and selecting which place can we go and see these 10 different locations. Can we see what should be the type of interiors we need to do? What should be the color of the walls? How can I help you, set up the whole business process? How do So that is the difference between standing for your wife than by your wife. So that change in me and that sense of owning up the responsibility is I have messed up. Accepting that, I think that was a huge ego shattering moment when I said someone whom I love so much, and I asked myself the question: am I willing to give up this beautiful woman whom I actually started to love? Because before 7 years, I always told you this, I was lusting for you. I never knew the meaning of love. We use that word so casually, but it was purely lust. It was more physical than something emotional or spiritual to it. But when I started to actually rise in love, not fall in love, but actually rise in love, understanding what you're going through, what could be your possible feelings, why is it that you're feeling this way, and understanding your different aspects of yourself and holding myself accountable to it and feeling no, I think I need to make things right. If I have messed up, it's nobody's responsibility but my responsibility. Set it right, and I have to do it. And things don't change overnight. It takes a long time or probably a short time to go the wrong direction, but it takes a very long road to correct it. 2 years felt like 20 years of trying to woo you back. I still remember you would go on walks at Besanagar, and I would keep following you at the back, one half a kilometer at the back, walking, and you'll walk for hours, and I'll keep following you around the place. And I would, write love letters to you, and you would just ignore everything and not give me any bhav. It was just the two people living under the same roof and having absolutely no thing. But I know you were observing me.
Yeah, I
I
was.
know you were testing me to see is this guy really changed or is acting that he's changed.
Exactly. No, I mean, honestly, in the courtship, I don't have any this thing to admit. I was the one who proposed that I would like to spend my whole life with him, and I chased you for 5 years. I chased you, 30, for 5 years with flowers and letters, and I waited. So when things, after the marriage, I realized no, it's his time to show up. I want to see a changed person. While I was also working on myself, so that quietly that I was walking, it's like that's why you know when you get disturbed mentally, emotionally, physically, exercise helps. So that's why it's very important for women to be physically active. So in those walks, I was healing myself. I was thinking, and I was waiting, and I was waiting to see a change.
Thank you, Rakhi, for these beautiful insights and for this open sharing. I really love this conversation. Hey, guys, if you like this conversation, you think this is your type of channel where you like to listen to two couples speaking a lot more than just about mundane things about life, about relationship, about finance, about business, about entrepreneurship, about different aspects of life, health, happiness, love, all these aspects. I think this is a channel that you should visit. And in case you want to understand more about what we've been through, I think Rakhi has written this amazing book, The Horseshoe Man by author Rakhi Kapoor, is available on Amazon and all the other online portal. Please do go and check it out. And we will get into more detailed conversation about the content of the book and what we have to say. This is just an introductory, video and YouTube presentation. So love you guys and have a fabulous life. God bless you, and wishing an amazing and a flourishing life together. Love you so much.
Good luck and God bless.